So we're talking about the Brown versus Board of Education. So in 1954, the Supreme Court decided on the Brown versus Board of Education, and that segregation violates the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment being that it grants citizenship to all people born or naturalized in the United States, regardless of color. Um, and so this is guaranteeing all citizens equal protection of their rights and of the laws. And this whole Brown versus Board of Education kind of sparked the civil rights movement. Um, and on to the second question. So it was named Brown was named after Oliver Brown. His daughter, I believe her name was Linda Brown. Um, he believed that his daughter should be able, being an African American, should be able to attend a all white school. But back then she wasn't, which hence Brown versus Board of Education. Um, and so the question that I thought, if I read it right, does it deprive the children of the minority group of equal opportunities? Like in this case, the equal opportunity of education, where if you're an African American, you can't attend an all white school where there might be better education. Um, which back then that's kind of how it was. If you were white, you kind of had things your way, and you had better education, and they kind of focused on you more. Um, and on to the third question. So African Americans, before this Brown versus Board of Education, they were denied admission to all white public schools, like Linda Brown. It doesn't matter if you're an elementary student, high school student, an African American person cannot attend the same school as a white person. So after the Brown versus Board of Education, we started seeing segregation in public transportation led to protests and boycotts. So the Montgomery bus boycott, we're all kind of familiar with Rosa Parks. We kind of did our study when we were little, and how she refused to give her seat up to a white passenger, which led to her being arrested, and I believe a $14 fine, which back then was quite a bit of money. Um, but after the Brown versus Board of Education, school districts in the southern states desegregated peacefully. So again, African Americans and whites, they're desegregating, being able to attend the same school. Uh, and then in 1964, which would have been 10 years after the Brown versus Board of Education, the NAACP, which is the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, had turned into a mass movement to eliminate racism as a whole. So not just kind of the education, um, the seating on the buses, but just racism as a whole, and that all whites and African Americans and anybody of any color should have the same equality, same racial equality, same rights, and those should be respected. And then on to the last question, which was kind of fun to think about. I thought, I believe it was if an employer hired employees and required them to work in two separate spots because of their color. Um, well, first of all, they're going to get angry and maybe not even show up to work. I know that if I was kind of segregated and kind of given not as much time or work quality as somebody of a different race, I kind of feel less of a person. I mean, who wouldn't? And could turn into a riot. I assume it would nowadays if you're not being treated the same due to your color. And I'm not saying that segregation or racism is completely gone today. I mean, we still see it in certain situations. Um, but I think if it was this extreme, we'd definitely see a riot. And then I don't think that those people that were being kind of put into a different spot would be as productive at work. Um, Again, if you're not being treated the same, why would you want to work for this company and put in your time and effort and be good at it? And then as a company, you're definitely going to get bad publicity. My bad. Again, dealing with the race or the color, you're being you're segregating your employees. And then nowadays it'll turn into a lawsuit. So that's what I think it'd be like if that's kind of how we saw segregation today.